Yes.
Let's see. Earthquake in Nevada. Shaking the Zoom. All right, you ready?
Yeah, we're all set.
If there's anybody new here today, I don't think
I just
so.
met Ross. Have you met Ross from London?
No, I haven't met Ross.
Yeah.
I'm new here.
Well, welcome, Ross.
I'm Russ. Hi, Paul.
How are you?
And I see Reed. I don't know that I've met Reed before.
Khabib?
No, Reed.
Oh, Reed. No, we've had Reed before.
Okay.
Yeah. I read Reed before, yes. So, all right, well, but we can, okay, let's start it. So, welcome, everybody. Paul, uh, Zoom attendee. Nice to see you, Z, and Janine, and Linda, the Globetrotter of Zen Bitch Slap. We've got John W. from Melbourne, Taj, not from Mahal, Ashley from Dallas. Always nice to see you, Ashley. Reed, we don't know where you're from yet, so wherever. Where are you from, Reed?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. That place must be cooking down there. Wow.
It is, yeah.
Julie, nice to see you. Yeah. Yeah, between peak experiences and epiphanies. Yes. Taking a break. Anu. Oh, there's John K. Thank you and your wife, John, for the cash. I'll spend it unwisely, probably. Yeah, good. There's Judith and Kerry. There she is. They're working hard on a nice bit of property in the Big Island. There's Mike Zerbel. I think I saw Mike a little while ago. Yeah. He was getting taken out of Costco for shoplifting. He was trying to.
Caught making a trade with you.
Hmm?
Caught making a trade with you in the parking lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, the wonderful invitation of non-duality. Uh, Once received, never gotten. Yeah. Once arrived at on having never left. Yeah. It's always like that. So, um, I was been doing a talk with another group called Awakening Together, which is sort of a strange name for a non-duality talk. But Awakening Together Tuesdays, and a lady was speaking about awareness, and she was wondering what I meant by dog shit awareness, and then I was commenting on, sometimes somebody presents it as pure awareness, or I don't see how you could have impure awareness, but she was thinking that there could be dirty awareness because of what we're doing. But see, what we're doing comes way after the awareness. It doesn't truly have an effect on the awareness unless the awareness takes itself to be something else, yes? Then it can have a huge amount of effect. But in fact, there's no effect. So that which comes after truly has no effect on what's before, because what's before is contextual, what's after is content, yes? And so the idea of radical awareness or pure awareness or impure awareness, I just don't get. I just think let's just call it awareness, yeah? And so I like the idea of dog shit awareness because it takes sort of the specialness off of it. And it's just basically always available at all times, obviously, or we wouldn't be having this experience. So without awareness, there'd be no light to see what's happening. So I know obviously there's no one to see what's happening. So this idea of awareness is sort of goes with the idea of being ourselves reality. You could say being ourselves awareness. We can't use awareness to find awareness, yeah? You could say it in a similar manner. Being ourselves awareness, we can't use awareness to find awareness. That would be the greatest mystery. Or as Ramana put it, being ourselves reality, the greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. Well, how does that look like? Like ourselves, all of us trying to attain reality. He saw it as reality trying to attain reality, and that was the big mystery. But we take it to be almost like the next appropriate response, realizing the discomfort, the instability of joy and happiness, things that we don't want come, things that we want go. So there's a desire, a drive to get something that would be at least different than what we're in. So let's call it reality. So then they give it the ultimate reality, as if there's a non-ultimate reality. There's just the reality. Like the Course in Miracles says, there's no degrees in illusion. Yeah, there's no degrees in miracles. There's no big miracles, small miracles. There's just miracles. And there's just illusions, seemingly. But actually, the idea of illusions, as this great master Huang Po says, is illusory itself. So he says here, just give up your notions of unenlightened and enlightened. Then you might recognize that which is here to begin with. It's your crazy thinking. So let's say, just give up your actions of enlightened, your notions of unenlightened and enlightened. See, the beautiful thing is they're not your notions, yeah? So if you give up the your, there can be tons of notions about enlightenment and unenlightenment, but they're not going to have any power to truly block you or to disturb you or to send you on the wrong path. It's the your of the concepts of enlightenment and unenlightenment. It's them being yours is what gives them power, yes? So, all right, so just give up your notions of unenlightened and enlightened. I would say just give up the one who has those notions, yeah? Because those notions are going to show up, yeah? They're not coming out of your volition. They're mechanical. So if you get introduced to spirituality, you're probably going to have a lot of ideas about enlightenment and unenlightenment as soon as you hear the term enlightenment and unenlightenment. Yeah? So many ideas are going to download once you hit the keypad, Paul, and then topic enlightenment. Tons of ideas, tons of notions. But are they yours? Yeah? Are they your notions? So the idea, see, this is what used to stump me. Okay, I got to give up any notion of enlightenment and unenlightenment with the hopes of attaining enlightenment. Really, that's the reason why I want to give up the notions, because they tell me that's blocking me off from what I want. Yeah. So I set off on a course to lose the notions I think I have of enlightenment or of unenlightenment. Really, they have me, so to speak, yeah? So what would happen if I saw I'm not that which holds those notions? Do those notions have the power to obscure something anymore? Did they ever have the power to obscure something? They were given the power through the intermediary of our owning it, yeah? Of our being the one who had those notions gives the power to those notions. Yeah? So, all right. Then you might recognize that which is here to begin with. It's your crazy thinking that is your biggest impediment. And here we go again. Now, I would change that. It's your crazy thinking. It's not crazy thinking. That's the biggest impediment. Yeah? It's your crazy thinking. Crazy thinking doesn't have much meaning. It's what's the meaning it's given by it being our crazy thinking. And especially in spirituality, you may have thought your crazy thinking was sort of cool and maybe attractive to, strange types of women who like that kind of stuff. But then you enter spirituality, and now it's pointed out that crazy thinking is obscuring you from reality. What? So I want to set off on a course to lose the crazy thinking and hopefully replace it with wise thinking. You see the bondage in both? You see, once they're yours, you're not going to get out of them. You see that they're not yours, so you were never in them. That's the point. That's the message, yeah? The message is, this crazy thinking isn't yours. And when it isn't yours, that used to have the ability to obscure you or blind you or impede you suddenly doesn't have the ability, because that ability was given by the ownership of it, yeah? It's my crazy thinking that's driving me crazy, not crazy thinking, mine. Because your crazy thinking isn't driving me crazy, unless I'm living with you, yeah? Yes or no? So it's not crazy thinking, it's being the one who has the crazy thinking, or the one that the crazy thinking is really, really upsetting, yes? You see? You see that sense of ownership is where that's the distribution center of meaning. Yeah, because if everything is inherently empty, then the idea of enlightenment and unenlightenment is inherently empty. So when we meet it and we hit it with like a mental club, like a piñata, and all this meaning comes out of it, it wasn't in enlightenment and unenlightenment, it came from us. Yeah? It came through us. Yes? Yeah. Just like the word my. The word my changes everything that comes after it. It's just incredible. Yeah? Once there's a sense of ownership, that which is owned can own you. So once there's a sense of owning the crazy thinking, the crazy thinking can suddenly impede you from where you want to go. Yeah? So it's your crazy thinking. Thank God it isn't. That's good news then. Yeah? Because if it's true, your crazy thinking is the biggest impediment. Wow. But if you see it's not yours, is it a big impediment? Is it? We were talking to these folks about, all right, so there's this awareness, and then people have a feeling that it can get sullied and dirtied by coming through us. But in fact, it's sort of like if you wanted to get a suntan and you were premised as this action figure, well, obviously it would only be a body that wants to, well, the mental would want to get a tan with hoping the body would look better. So you would go to the beach with all the oils and everything, and you get ready and you have the whole afternoon to lay out. And then one little cloud just seems to hover in front of the sun, and it stops you or impedes you from getting the suntan, yeah? But what would happen if you saw that you were on the other side? You were on the sun side. You would still see the clouds, but would they have the ability to impede you from getting a suntan? No, yeah? Because they wouldn't be between you and the sun. You would be on the sun side. So this whole idea of your crazy thinking and your notions is what moves you to a point where those notions can be used to impede you and obstruct you. Yeah? But the notions can't do it themselves. They have to have meaning, and that meaning is given through the your. Yeah? So here he goes. It's your crazy thinking that is your biggest impediment. You hold on to all kinds of distorted ideas. Who says that? Your head says you're holding on. Are you holding on? The only way it makes sense to let go is that there's someone holding on. are you holding on? If there's no one to hold on, it changes everything. Don't you see it? Didn't it feel like, all right, I got into spirituality with the hopes of just being better, and then all the ideas that they started to give me sort of sounded like orders, you know what I mean? You've got to stop your crazy thinking. You've got to give up all these notions. I don't even know where they came from. How can I give them up? Yeah? So by seeing I'm not the one who holds the notion, weakens the influence of the notion. Yeah? When you want to change the notion, you reinforce the influence of the notion. Yes? When you want to stop the crazy thinking, it incites more crazy thinking. It almost puts more mind. It amps up the horsepower, so to speak. Yeah. You see how we're rolling it? Being ourselves reality, taking ourselves to be the dreamt. We give everything all the meaning it has in the dreaming, and that meaning is basically it's all real. Yeah. My notions are real. My ideas of enlightenment and unenlightenment are real. You know, you're real. This is real. That is real. All right, so you hold on to all kinds of distorted ideas and compare one thing with another. Wouldn't it be lovely to realize there's no one doing that? Yeah. Because it's showing up is going to continue. I don't care how freaking pure you get, these shit's probably going to come up. But if you don't have that habit of owning it, yeah, and then there's a pause and you see the mental state assuming you already owned it, yeah, and you see it from what you are. You see it. You see the activity of the owning of what's not yours, yeah? And being the owner. Oh, it's beautiful. So compare one thing with another without end. Your thoughts furiously chase after all kinds of things, just like mad hornets stirred from their nests. There is no such thing as illusion. This is why I got on this anyway. There is no such thing as illusion. Illusion is itself illusory. A beautiful, beautiful statement, yeah? It's only there because you have invented it. I don't believe you've invented it. I believe the mental state invents it, yes? Or makes it. I don't even believe it invents it. It basically makes it up. So, to say it again, there is no such thing as illusion. Illusion is itself illusory. It's only there basically because you are, really. Now, you want to get the illusion, you want to get rid of the illusion, but you don't want to get rid of you. But you're the source of the illusion, eh? The you that you're not. It's like people who want to be there to experience their own absence. It's impossible. All right, so illusion is itself illusory. It's only there because I would say the mental state makes it up. Yeah. If you would simply give up your dividing this from that, you would see that what seems to be divided is not. So this is what happened. When I was confronted with these kind of statements and I was reading it from the sense of being a long-lasting, independent, separate thing, it seemed like a whole lot of work, yes? It seemed like, how the hell am I going to fucking pull this off? Yeah? If the crazy thoughts are the biggest impediment and I'm living under the idea that they're mine, yet they don't listen to me. So when I say shoo, they don't take off. Yeah. When I go banished, they don't banish. Yeah. It felt like, wow, I'd rather just get loaded, you know? It's an easier way to change how I feel. This is seeming to be a lot of orders and demands I don't think I can perform. But in fact, if you take out the you're of it, Yeah? And you see all these things they say, the impediments and the obstacles, if you took out the you before it, they wouldn't be impediments and obstacles. They're impediments and obstacles because of the you being before it. Yes? Don't you see it? That's the whole essence of the message here. The essence of the message isn't to set out on a course to stop the crazy thinking. That's not the message. If you're hearing that, that's not what we're saying. Yeah? It's just questioning the ownership of that. Who's the thinker of those crazy thoughts? Is it truly you? And you got to stop? Or are they more mechanical? One batch of thoughts sets off another batch of thoughts and sets off another batch of thoughts. And when they conjure up a thinker, then a whole slew of stuff occurs. Yes? And now I believe the thoughts at that point can be a major impediment, can be an obstacle, but they're not the thought, they are not the obstacle. It's the owning of the idea of being the thinker of the thoughts. Give them the power. Yeah? So illusion is itself illusory. It's only there because you have invented it. If you would simply give up this is what used to drive me crazy. If you would simply give up your dividing this from that, I couldn't do it. Tell you the truth. I couldn't give up the dividing of this and that because I had nothing to do with it. Yeah? It just gave me more. I was trying to, I have a tendency to be, you would call me like a slacker more. It just seemed to be a whole lot more work that was impossible for me to succeed in. If I could have given up the division of seeing this and that, I would have a long time ago. But now they're asking me once again, if you only give up the division of this or that, everything will be cool. Well, you just planted a fucking Mount Everest in front of it. Yeah. Based on that I'm the thinker and I'm the doer and I'm the seer. Yeah. There's no way in hell I'm getting out of this. No way. Because, okay, I can get out of it if there's no dividing this and that. Well, there seems to always be a dividing this and that. So therefore, I can't get out of it. So what makes sense? I leave the spiritual way of life and I get loaded again. I do. That's what happened. I got loaded. I said, fuck this. I'm just going to shoot coke. At least I'll get a rush and feel like everything's changed. Because once again, it feels like I'm being given a responsibility I can't live up to. How am I going to stop the crazy thinking? Yeah? Start doing affirmations. Start like, okay, good thoughts, what are they? So when I read this, if you just take out the ownership, take out the your, take out the mine, and then you see how easy it can be. Because basically what's fueling that which comes after the your and my is a lot of interest, yeah, and a lot of faith. It's unbeatable at that point. You have to see you're not the your of the crazy thoughts. Yeah, why not? Yeah. That's the whole premise of these talks. Isn't that we're going to be we're going to have discrimination as sharp as a Japanese samurai sword. No, we're not saying that. Yeah? There aren't belts being given at Zen Bitch Slap. Yeah? You're not going to get a black belt and shit like that after you've vanquished all division. Of course, how does your head look at things? It compares things with other things, yes? There would be no this in the head's world without a that. That's its whole programming. Yeah? I think the easier way is to see you're not the doer, not the thinker, not the feeler, not the one who has the crazy thoughts, not the one who has to give up the crazy thoughts. Yeah? And then maybe they won't be so crazy. Maybe they'll just be run-of-the-mill thoughts. Yeah? That's where the freedom lies with me. It isn't suddenly finding some new superhuman powers to override the programming that you're a product of while identified as self. I mean, and there's been a lot of warnings about the system that's producing the problem can't have a solution to it. Yes? It's impossible. So, what's the solution? The solution is before the problem. The freedom is before the bondage. It rests with that sense of you, the owner, that which is represented, it's pictured as a body, but it's represented by a movement that's captured better with the word my than the picture of the body, tell you the truth. The sense of being the seeing when seeing is noticed, to being the seer, being the hearer, being the feeler, being the taster, being the toucher, being the doer, being the one who has the crazy thoughts. And now that it's opened up to a new possibility, I've now got to get rid of those crazy thoughts, which is a crazy thought in and of itself. Yeah? So I don't think they'd mind if I read all these things and I just looked at the your and the my, because probably didn't come from the master. It came from the person who translated the talks, yeah? Because they were probably in-selfing, so of course they thought crazy thoughts were theirs. So they said, well, you got to give up your crazy thoughts. Well, that your changes the whole message to me, yeah? It's like that old joke with, the monk studying all the scriptures, and he rushes up to the abbot after he realizes something, and he knocks on the abbot's door, and the abbot wakes up and he says, the word was celebrate. Obviously they missed an A and they thought it was an R. They thought it was celibate. It was celebrate. Fucking, it changed everything. The your and the my, yeah. That's what changes everything that comes after it. Thank God it doesn't change what's before. Yeah? What's before is pristinely empty of any meaning that could be acquired by your and my. Yeah? That's the beauty of it. Yes? This isn't about exchanging old meanings and getting new meanings. Yeah? It's the recognition of our origin, which is no meaning. So that we can travel through the world of meaning. Yeah? Yeah. So, thanks everybody.
Anybody want to raise their hand?
Mm.
Reed from Phoenix. Go ahead, Reed.
Hello. So I guess I just wanted to say I just resonate so much with this idea, or this, I guess, experience of spiritual practice becoming this unbearable kind of burden. I a couple of years ago, I realized that, so the quote unquote normal way, or whatever I was doing at the time, wasn't working. A girl rejected me and it was just devastating. And so I was like, okay, I need a new program. I need a new thing to do. And that became, the Buddhism, and I started doing all this practice, and I came to this conclusion, this is it. I'm going to succeed. And then, that didn't happen. And I continued to fail, and things continued to fall apart. And I was not getting the message that was very clearly showing me. And it's almost like it doubled the amount of stuff that was going on in my head. Because now I didn't just have the thought, but I had the thought that came after it that said, what you just thought was fucked up or whatever, and
Yes.
it just made it even worse. It got really bad. And so just every aspect of this message that you're sharing is just so disarming of that whole tendency. It's just it's crazy to me, because just each phrase just kind of eliminates the thought that comes in and says, like, but what if I do? And then you say, but self can't get out of self. And it's like, oh, well, I'm fucked. It's like, I can't do anything, and
Yeah.
I been in a crisis of what do I do? That was where I was at, was what do I do? And just seeing that, that is the approach which has failed. It's really, really eye-opening.
Well, great, Reed. Thank you. Yes, it is. Hooray! Yeah. You saw the policeman and thief in quick succession. So the thief, policeman, yeah. And then when you enter the spiritual thing, you got the real bugger view of like a demand for perfection. It was unbearable. Fuck, you gotta be perfect. It was. The only way I could get relief was to get loaded. Because if I was bad, I was dismissed from having to become spiritual. That's the only way I could get permission. I wouldn't give it myself, yeah? And I sure wasn't going to ask the guru or anything. So it was basically just get fucking loaded and bad, and then I could just give up. But yeah, it's a trip. It becomes a burden, doesn't it? See, that's the funny thing. In its own, as its own vehicle, it's not built to be a burden. It's us, yeah? It's how we're comprised. Like we say in recovery, you drop an alcoholic into heaven, it'll be hell in a day, yeah? So if you drop one of us in a path of liberation, we'll use the path of liberation as a form of bondage. It's just the way it goes. I mean, like they say, no one gets out alive. It's just really, and it can be very frustrating and disappointing, and a lot of it gets delayed because of the self-centered blaming itself, the self-centeredness. So it never really looks at what's going on. It says, I'm at fault. So I need to do more. I'm going to do a 3-month retreat with a little talking in the morning, no talking, some tantra later, maybe, whatever, and it's just, the only answer I get when it fails is more. I need to do more. So I'm in Thailand, going to retreats, fucking doing all this stuff. And in this situation, more is actually, it's a boo-boo, so to speak. The more you do it, yeah, there's more an investment and therefore when the problem really is revealed and a solution immediately appears, the mental state is not going to be open to it because it's invested all these years, it thinks, of this story. And it's there's a pride around it. There's an ownership around it. There's a cherishing around it. And it's not really, it's going to attempt to keep the door locked when the spiritual subpoena comes around and is served. It is. So yeah, that's great that you're seeing it. Yeah, because man, once the eyes that are myopic get completely frustrated, then the panoramic view becomes available. Yes. So then that where you used to look from, you see, and not as a huge part. You just see it as a part among other parts. Yeah. And it's not meant with wanting to vanquish it or destroy it or kill it. It's accepted. It's just accepted as another empty phenomena rolling on in a way. Yeah. And yeah. So thank you for that share. Actually, that made the whole night. That was very explanatory of the message. Yeah. Thank you. Very, very clear. we don't want to take, we don't want you to get up. See, we don't want to take a break with a loving gaze or long, 5 minutes of silence. No, we want to pile on. We want to pile the message on until the system collapses. And then you see that you continue. Yeah. Yeah. The system that we've been living for and living as is not of us. It's not of us. It's of a mental origin. Yes. It's not of us. So that's when the ties that bind weaken the most, is when you see something that you called you as foreign, there's a possibility of being free from it becomes available. Yeah. Not through a long, arduous journey, but an immediacy of recognition. Yeah. Yes. Great.
Thanks, Reed.
Anyone else, Mike?
We have Ross of London.
Ross of London. Yes. How are you,
Hey,
Ross?
Paul. I'm good, thanks. First of all, thanks for doing what you do. I found your videos very helpful recently. And I mean, I'm speaking amidst of a shitstorm that's going on, and I've been doing the non-dual thing for about 2 years. I have glimpses, and I guess right now it's like one of those moments where it's the policeman. I know it's the policeman, but I've just got caught up in it. I had a week off, and I think the issue is of like skillful means. I've heard you talk about skillful means before, and I kind of understand that there's nothing I can fucking do, but life carries on, right? And so that sense of ownership sneaks back in by me thinking, but yeah, there's certain things I should probably do to help my life along, because traditionally I've also not lived a particularly healthy lifestyle, and there's certain things that I think like, yeah, exercise or better nutrition would help, and before you know it, I'm caught up in it again.
Well, let me jump in there. Exercise and nutrition may help. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just watching the ownership of it and how it's used by what you're not. But it doesn't mean the action figure sometimes is compelled to seek a balance or homeostasis, so to speak. And I don't have any problem with that. Yeah. And you probably will feel better. Sometimes that's the skillful means. Yeah. Yeah. You
But
reckon.
so what would you say? So what would you say in a situation where, I had basically it started off, I had a week off and I thought, it's a good time to launch off and do some things. And before you know, I'm just caught up in this whole thing, and I can kind of see it. It doesn't take possession of me like it used to, but nonetheless, I got caught up in it. And it's this funny thing where on the one hand, I know I'm just trying to do some, positive changes. And on the other hand, I've got this policeman just battering me over the head.
Oh, so there's a lot of critiquing and judging and stuff. But remember,
Yeah.
But if it seems to be overwhelming, then you got to distract it. Yeah. So if you're not the shit isn't working and the flies keep hovering, then you got to do something. Yeah. Yeah. Chanting you're not the shit and yet the flies aren't moving means it doesn't have much power in it. Yes. The flies are attracted to the shit. You're saying it's not shit, isn't working. So then you do something, get a little relief. Help somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like always a battle. Yeah. It's not like a wrestling match on the edge of a cliff and it's going to change your whole life. It's not like that. You can back off and fight another day, so to speak. Yes. Just distract the head. Yeah. When it's having a field day, and you're sitting there, tons of flies, and you're saying, there is no shit, there is no shit. It's not working. The flies are are clearer than you are at that moment. They smell the shit, they're on the shit, and so, okay, well, what do I do now? There you go, skillful means. Like in me, in the life of an action figure called Paul, coming from recovery, service was a very, very useful, skillful means, because this condition you're sharing was pretty much possible almost every 10 minutes in my first few years. So I jumped into service, and that pulled the attention and interest that had attracted the flies away from the shit. And I got some relief, yeah? And then from the relief, I could look at the shit. And when I said I'm not the shit, it wasn't as a way of getting out of something, but it was a clear recognition, yes? Yeah, yeah. If you try to use non-duality to get out of something that you think you're in, it's probably not going to work well. Yeah. The flies aren't going to fall for it. That's for sure. They're going to keep on hovering. So, yeah. The head is going to try to take advantage of everything it comes in contact with. The head has been introduced to non-duality. So have you, yeah? The head has also been introduced to it. And the head is looking for an advantage out of it, yeah? Yeah. And it will go to great lengths to act as if nothing's bothering it when it's really fucking bothered. So just do something to distract it, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's exactly where I am. What you just said there, I think it's pretending, but I'm better than I am right now.
Yeah, this is the head is, it mimics, yeah? It mimics. So it gets an idea through us, and then it mimics what it thinks it would look like with that. So, I always have used this example because it happened. I had been introduced to non-duality for about a year or two. I was living in Australia, and my girlfriend, we had a house, and she was going out with her friends, and she asked me to do some chores around the house, do the dishes and everything. And when she came back, I hadn't done shit. And she said, "Paul, why didn't you do the dishes?" I said, "Well, there is no Paul." And she said, "Fuck you, do the dishes." Yeah, so I grew out of that immaturity concerning the message quickly, because she could hear it. It was like tinny, yeah? There was no weight in it. It was just mental fucking masturbation, yeah? Which it's gonna do. It's not you, it's just the head. So when you feel like you're overmatched, maybe that's the right read. Just do something, yeah? To distract yourself. This too shall pass, and then, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm not muted, am I? Sorry. Thanks, Ross. And James J. would like a refresher about what selfing is. Am I muted?
Yes, yeah. It's more important what selfing isn't. All right, but what selfing is just a word that I use to capture a lot of mental activities that usually when you wake up to them, they're always in the act of being identified as self, yes? So basically, you're never in the act of becoming self, you're already presupposed to be a self when you listen to the head or memories or whatever, yes? So basically, it really limits possibility completely, because it basically says emphatically, you're already in, so baby, the only strategy you got is to try to get out, yeah? And this is the bondage of self, literally. So selfing is, it's not a noun, it's not a verb noun, it's not like the act of being identified, that's the verbing, as self is the noun. No, it's a complete verbing. There is no self, as self. The act of being identified as a self, it's not, there's no self to be identified with. Yes, you see? It's an act. but the act has a trick in time. When it's performing, it says it's already been performing for a while. Yeah.
So, Paul, selfing is it's just when you're identifying or acting or thinking you're this body-mind complex, right?
Well, if you're thinking that, then the selfing's worked, because that's what it does. It implies just that. So let's you look at selfing, and two basic ways people call me up about it. One way is, Paul, I've been selfing all day. Yeah. Or the selfing's driving me crazy. Yeah. The selfing won in both those cases. Yeah. Because there's a one that's doing the selfing and the one that's being done by the selfing. Yes. That's the implication, just like you explained. The identification as the doer or the haver of something. Yes. Yeah. That comes after, but it's implied to be before. See, once you feel like Paul, you feel like a historical Paul. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You never see the arising of selfing, because when the arising of selfing works, you're already taking yourself to be that which it's implying. Yes? It's a trip. The implying leads to this, but then this goes, I'm the one that was before the implying. Yeah. And it only works because we're programmed, the action figure, to see time as a linear event. Yeah. There's a past, something's happening now, and it's inexorably moving to the future. So the mental state plays on that misunderstanding, and it claims something. Let's say there's the seeing, it claims the seeing to imply the seer, and then the seer is presupposed before all seeing. So now the seer is the source of the seeing. Yeah. Yeah. That's the bondage of self. Yeah. If you see it, it's just like you don't know how hard you're held until it loosens. When you loosen and there's relief, it really informs you of the activities that are producing the opposite of relief. Yeah. Yeah. When you get relief, you really see what's going on. And time is the main player. If dreaming is what's happening, then everything is based on seemingly so, yes? Whatever is witnessing or seeing the dreaming, it's the control agent of the dreaming, because everything is appearing to be true or false to that, yes? So everything is seemingly so is the quality of dreaming. And the dreaming is given meaning by the identification with a dreamt. Yeah. So the dreaming forgets that it's dreaming by being identified as the dreamt, and now gives everything it's dreaming all the meaning to affect it. Yeah. That's basically how the Course in Miracles describes it, which I think is an incredibly clear X-ray. Yeah. You and I are the dreaming of this dreaming. We forget that we're dreaming. How does that get facilitated? I believe through the identification as the dreamt, yeah, or identification as self. All right, now when that identification as self gets established, now everything that we were dreaming now has the ability to affect us as the dreamt. It sounds like everybody's day, yeah? Yeah, yeah. We're dreaming of thoughts. We dream we're the thinker of the thoughts, and now the thoughts own us. Yeah, this is what happens. Yeah, all day. So thank God it's not us. That's the freedom. The freedom isn't having this mechanical system change. The freedom is seeing you're not of the mechanical system. You're not of it. You're not a product of the mental state. You're before it. Yeah. That's why you can see what you're not. because everything is basically what you're not in its appearance, yeah? And the seeing is what we are. So in the seeing of what we're not, we get a sense of what we are. We are the seeing of what we're not, yeah? Seeing is a verb, yeah, not a noun. We're not the seer. There's no beginning or end in seeing. There's not a whole lot of things doing it. There's not one thing doing it. There's just a doing of it. Yeah, like they said, it's attributed to Lord Buddha. I love the statement. I can't verify it, yeah, obviously, but it was, events happen, deeds are done, yet there is no individual doer thereof. Yeah. Now, everyone believes, usually in the programming, that events happen and deeds are done are concrete evidence that there's a doer of it. That's how the mental state reads events happening and deeds are being done. It uses that which is happening to verify its idea. And Lord Buddha just cut it at the knees. It says, events happen, deeds are done. We're giving you that, yet there is no individual doer thereof. See, the mental logic doesn't go there. The mental logic goes, events happen, deeds are done, and there's definitely a doer thereof. Because there could never be an event or a deed without someone going to it or doing it. Yeah, this is the mental logic. You're not going to, the mental logic cannot decipher and understand the incomprehensible. You might as well just realize it's failed, and then there'll be a migration of interest and attention from that failed system, and you'll rely on something other than the mental logic. And I believe the negation of non-duality is a seamless logic. I believe it's seamless. Yeah? I do. The premise is being ourselves reality. The only thing we need to look at is what we're not. We don't need to look for what we are, being ourselves reality, obviously, yeah? We got to look at what we're not. Why? Because we seem to be looking at everything from there. So let's question that. If we're not that, what happens? The telescope gets readjusted, and now you're seeing from what you are. And now Zen would describe it as you see blue as blue, red as red, gray as gray. Yes, things become clear. Not because of any effort or thought, it's just that that's how it is. Yeah? Yeah. So there's no pure awareness. There's just awareness. Yeah? There's no dirty awareness. It's not like a maintenance crew you can send into awareness to clean it up. There's just awareness. Yeah? Onness, whatever you want to call it. Contextual emptiness or whatever. Emptiness with brilliance. The most incredible lit up place, yeah, that's completely empty. Yeah, those things can't get even close to the possibility. The whole point is, why would you want to stop at knowing it when you're being it? Yeah, why not just fucking spiritual bypass all that shit and just have an understanding that explains all the misunderstandings, and then throw them both away. Just like it's the old story with the thorn, you got a thorn in the foot and it's bothering you, so you finally get off the road and you take your shoe off and you look around, you see there's this thing sticking in your foot, you look around and you get another thing, another thorn, you take that thorn and dig out the other thorn. You don't replace the one thorn with the other thorn. The understanding is there to correct the misunderstanding. It's not there to take a place of it. It's just, it's done its job. You throw both of them away. Yeah? Yeah. Wouldn't you think if you replace one thorn with another thorn, it would still be uncomfortable? Yeah. Yeah. This is what happens. Same, someone said it earlier, the Who song, the new boss, same as the old boss. You know what I mean? You didn't get a new Paul, same as the old Paul. You're trying to paint, you put lipstick on a pig, you know, or trying to paint legs on a snake. I can see if your brother-in-law has a fucking, you know, cosmetic company, but other than that, there's no point. But I look better with legs. Well, sorry. Yeah, so understanding it doesn't make anything. I'm just using, you can be clear about what you're not. You can't be clear about what's clear. Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, that's the clarity of it, is you can't be clear about it. But you can be clear about what you're not. You can understand it. You can see, because if you see what you used to look from, and then if it stops and something continues, you must be that which continued, you know? I mean, really. How could you be seeing it stop if it was you? You would have stopped and there'd be no seeing it stop. You saw it from somewhere else, yeah? You're not of that. You know, maybe it takes one, maybe 50. It's sooner or later, there's going to be the one straw that breaks the camel's back. Yeah, there'll be a sincere loss of interest, not by that which is interested in something, but a loss of interest. It will move and enrich your life instead of enslave it to an impossible goal of whatever, transcendence. Yeah, you ain't going anywhere, seriously. Maybe to 7-Eleven tonight or something, but you're not going anywhere. Yeah, you're not transcending here. Better people than us have tried. Yeah, yeah. Well, anyone else, Mike? Nice to see Monique there, my old friend. Yes, very nice to see you, Monique. Yes, I met Monique in Toronto. She's a lovely, lovely, whatever you want to take her to be. Yeah, yeah. Always a great.
Gary. We got Gary. Gary's in the house.
Where?
Hi, Paul. I'm in a different corner tonight.
I see you, Gary. Yes, I didn't recognize you.
Yeah, I got evacuated from the corner I used to live in by this big fire. But
Oh,
yeah.
You had a fire up there.
Yeah, that Caldor fire up there in Sierra. So I'm sitting in my grandson's bedroom today. So, but it works. So anyway, I want to thank you for. I'm really appreciating the variety of ways the message comes through you. The ways, you know, it just shapes itself for so many different ways to understand, or at least get a glimpse of it, and just appreciating the multiple ways that it's coming through you. It just makes it so accessible, and so I'm grateful for that, and thank you for that. But what I was noticing was like almost the first thing out of your mouth when you were talking about one of those people said, I think it was, well, I'm not sure which one, but it's, you have to get rid of your crazy ideas. And I thought, well, I've tried that forever. It's impossible. And it's impossible because of the you're in it. As soon as there's a you're applied to the ideas, they're glued and there's no way out. And I just, as soon as you said that, kind of snapped clear, right? I've applied the glue to those ideas by calling them mine, by saying that they're my ideas. And as soon as I do that, I can't remove them. I can't, you know, it's like before I even get out of the starting gate, you know, the gate is closed. So I just wanted to, I don't know, reflect on that, how cool that is. I don't hear that from any place else. And it's really the me, my ideas, which make them the glue that sticks. And as soon as, you know, until you see that, how could you ever see them as anything but my ideas? How could they ever be unglued unless that is made clear, that the my is the glue that binds those ideas? So yeah, I'm just grateful for that. It just sort of popped at the very beginning as you were talking. And that makes it possible for those ideas not to be glued, to recognize what's gluing them.
Yes. Yes. See, we're thinking everything's sticking on us, but we're the adhesive, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, the concept of me, my ideas.
Yeah.
But it's just a concept.
I mean, really, was having a hard enough time dealing with life on life's terms a day at a time, than to be a spiritual being that has to unite with the Godhead.
Give me a break.
Plus, I haven't done enough or whatever. It was a heavy duty fucking weight. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was the opposite of traveling later.
An anchor.
Part of the traveling lighter is, you know, the real liberation is from the need to be liberated. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah, all those things that seem to be totally essential they're not that important. Yeah, you know. So I remember I used to go out with this lovely woman up in Canada, and we used to stay in Bowen Island, and this lady would be throwing herself at me, but I was doing spiritual practices. I said, "Be gone, woman! I've got." She was
Oh no!
It was life inviting me for a lovely intimacy. No, I don't have any time for that. It was insane.
Yeah.
Crazy. Brought out. You would think spirituality would bring out the best in you, but it really didn't. It brought out the worst of me, really. I mean, I was extreme character, and I went extreme with that, you know. Meditating, hyperventilating, 13 hours of meditation a day, not eating anything, lost a pound a day, 21 days. I lost like 21 pounds, and I'm thin to begin with. Totally tripping out, hallucinating, thinking they're all spiritual experiences. I remember when I first got sober, I was going home and I started feeling super weird, and I was thinking it was a moment of transcendence, and really all I needed was a bologna sandwich. I hadn't eaten. I was feeling really weird, but my head was giving it a transcendent meaning. Oh, a bologna sandwich. I can turn right back to normal. This is the insanity. So I hope, yeah, like Reed said, it is this. The way it's being presented is as a disarming message. I believe the most disarming fact that you can ever hear in this place is being ourselves reality. It's just, yeah. It brings meaning to every other statement in non-duality, tell you the truth, my feeling. Yeah, it's why everything else is said the way it's said in non-duality. It's premised on the fact that being ourselves reality. Yeah.
But I love what you follow up with it, and you say, and the head is going to try to mimic that. It's going to try to stand there and say, yeah, I'm the one who just said that, which makes it all screwy again if you buy that one. So I really love that you include the warnings.
You're on it, Gary. Stay in the spiritual casino. You're going to win a lot of money from the house tonight. You can't lose.
Yeah, keep those donations rolling in.
That's very good, Gary. Very nice. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, grasshopper. Yes.
Thank you, Master.
Pleased. Yes. That's the whole point. Yeah. If you read that one thing, man, I don't want to run into Huang Po if he's going to tell me that. You got to give up all your crazy ideas. I can't. So, no, but if you take the your out of it and the my out of it, oh, it's so beautiful, because if they're not your crazy ideas, their spectrum of craziness gets severely limited.
Yeah, they're not near as serious at all.
No. So yes, beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Gary.
It's a nice evening tonight.
How crazy is it to think that I have crazy thoughts?
Right.
You remember the acronym SLAP egg? For
Slap.
SLAP egg. It was like common in AA for me. It was, sloth, lust, anger, pride, envy, greed, gluttony. The 7 deadly sins.
Slap egg. Wow.
SLAP egg, yeah. So I was just thinking how nice it is to have send bitch slap instead instead of slap egg.
I know.
That really
Yeah.
drove me crazy.
I'm telling you, as soon as the my or the your is attached, we're completely outmatched. Yeah. Yes. And the head just keeps pasting the tail on the donkey. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's mechanical. You're not going to talk it out of it. Yeah. It's just the way it goes. Whatever it comes in contact with, it tries to use it to promote and prolong the story. It's spinning. Yeah. Can't fault
It's
it.
not even there.
Yeah, but you can travel lighter through it. Yeah, for sure.
Matthew Entwistle has his hand up.
Matthew from Whistlehead.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of have a question for you. I think it was funny that you were just mentioning, like, when you were spiritual, it didn't exactly, like, the begone woman kind of thing. That kind of resonated with me really deeply today. Except in the way of, I was presented with a situation that was causing a lot of tension, and I'm thinking about how to even apply what you're presenting when I am in a situation that is causing me discomfort. And it almost seems as though, I know you have stated that, or I think you have stated that you can recognize that you're not a long-lasting separate entity. But I also was of the understanding through more of what you talk about, or I was coming to the understanding that it wasn't possible to recognize that, because it's just, or that it's almost inconceivable to even think that we could get there. So, or the release of self, or whatever you want to call it. Is it not just all a loop and then just coming to terms with that's how it will always be, or am I confused about it?
Well, it's a loop in a way, but it doesn't end up with it's how I'm going to be. It's not you. So there's a sense of foreignness that produces a distance because there was a feigned intimacy before. Now what you are calling you see as something other, and therefore there's a huge possibility of traveling lighter without changing that you, so to speak. Yeah, there'll be a loss of interest in it, and you won't take it so seriously. Yeah.
Okay, so it's understanding. Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying, but it just fuck.
Use the idea of self-inquiry when you're feeling like you're getting absorbed, you can always ask, well, who is it? You know, just ask, who is this I that's feeling absorbed? And if it says it's you, ask, well, who is this you? And then you'll see it will stop, and yet there'll be something there, yes, which is the space that we are, really. So the whole idea that Gary was talking about and we've been sharing is everything's meaning has a lot to do with the sense of my and your and ours, and I'm the doer and the seer, yes? This sense of ownership gives a huge amount of meaning to what comes after, yeah? And it's better to have an experience of the change of that than to talk too much about it, yeah? Just to recognize one time you're not that can change the whole ball game for quite a while. Yeah, because the whole ball game, it's the importance and the meaning that's given to every moment, every bat, every pitch is because it's you. Yes, yes. And then when that you is weakened, the whole production weakens. Yes, yeah.
And I know this is, it says non-duality. Am I allowed to just, I'm just going to quickly bring up the addiction part of it.
Yeah. What?
I feel like, you know, so much of what I hear is stop managing, and then I go into a meeting, even in the book, you know, stop managing, stop, or like, we can't. And then you know, I go to a meeting and somebody's like, fucking just stop, get to the, you know, do the 12 steps, and I'll say, well, what if I drink within a day? And I guess my question is how, or maybe there isn't a how, but how is letting go of self, or what you are talking about, how is that allowing something to happen? How is that allowing something to happen rather than me trying to manage that happening? Like, what's the difference?
See, the you trying to manage it, that little event becomes a very large, let's say, spot on the screen. So you don't see much else. Yeah. When you lose interest in you and that what you're going through, it's more like a zoom. Instead of having the whole picture, it's in one little square. And there's a large sense of something else going on that brings a levity and a proportionality to that square. Yes? That when you're involved in it, you're blowing it up. Yeah, you're magnifying it. So when you take out that idea, the same thing can go, but you'll see it in a different size and a different degree. Yes? Yeah.
Okay, sure, but how does that play into me living a better life? What influence does that have? Is it like, couldn't I just?
Because in a way, there's an admittance as an action figure that something can do for me what I can't do for myself, let's say, AKA a better life, and then you witness that happening. You observe it happening, that something knows better than you. Yeah, and then you like, this is the idea of recovery. Recovery isn't doesn't have a lot of marketing and false advertising. It delivers the goods. You'll get relief, yeah, from obsession with self. You will. So basically, you see something is doing for you what you couldn't do for yourself, and you keep expanding on that, what you can't do for yourself. Yeah. Yeah. And then you get something much better than you could ever thought of, usually, because you were going to shortchange yourself. We used to do a thing in recovery here where I grew up, where I got sober in San Francisco. The sponsor would have you write down everything you'd like after a year of being sober, yeah? And let's say you made it to a year, and then he'd show it to you, and you really shortchanged yourself. Life gave you so much fucking more than you could ever imagined. The myopic view you had was so contracting. And what was brought about by letting go of those ideas or not taking them to be so serious, life was much bigger and much more giving to you than you were ever gonna be. Yes?
Yeah.
It was on the paper. It was beautiful. So, yes.
Well, I really appreciate that. A lot of what you say, you laugh at because it just like talking about it, it seems like you're speaking from a place that is just absurd. And I mean, I really appreciate that. I really think that's quite a lot of times when I listen to what you have to say, I laugh at it because it all is so kind of absurd. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair. But see yes.
So
In it, when you're in it, the absurdity will come maybe later. When you're not in it, the absurdity is now. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
That the absurdity later doesn't do much, but the absurdity now is very liberating. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've yeah. I mean, Paul, you, everyone here, we don't have an infinite amount of dance steps. We've pretty much done, we've had some basic routines we've just done over and over and over. And it's hilarious how, like one guy I used to like said, hey, you're addicted to the boredom that looks exciting, Mostly the narrative up in the head is pretty damn boring, really. Yeah. But because it's about us, we take it as great excitement, you see? But when you see it as not from it, it's absurd. It truly is. It's hilarious, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Cool.
It's the point is, in recovery, self can't get out of self. The self, the mental, let's say, modality that has self as a center can't get that. It will just keep trying. When it runs into a wall, it will just back up and get into a different vehicle. Let's say spirituality, this and this. It doesn't get self can't get out of self. You have to see that from what you are. Yeah. And then it makes total sense.
Fuck. But how do I get to what I am? If what with what you've proposed, like I thought I couldn't figure out what the fuck what I am. I apologize. Without like knowing what I'm not, and then that seems to stump me. And then I guess I just laugh at the whole thing. And do you feel like part of it is in your view, part of the piece is it ever just like, is part of it ever acceptance of the experience as it is?
For sure, definitely. That's what happens. The atmosphere the action figure lives in, it becomes much more accepting. Yeah. Yes. Demands have dropped. Foibles and defects of character, if you want to call them that, have been accepted. Yeah. The urban renewal project has been canceled, and basically, this action figure isn't burning down houses. I'm not conspiring to rip my neighbor off. I mean, I don't really, there's, surveillance, if somebody was watching me, they'd be off work most of the day because I'm not doing much. Yeah. So basically, the action figure is just grazing like a free range alcoholic. It's not bothering anybody and shit like that. Yes. Yeah. The way of life of recovery was exactly the saddle this action figure needed so that it could ride instead of veering left and right and causing a lot of havoc. Yes? Yeah.
Does it not?
I lost you there.
He's frozen.
Well, we can come back to him if we want later.
Yeah. There's no other hands up, though.
All right. Well, Maybe we should call it a night, eh?
Okay.
We'll say we'll talk to Matthew again some other time. Let me say hello to everybody. Yeah? And Michael, thank you for all the service. Another great job. Yeah. I'll see you soon. Yeah. And tomorrow we have recovery talk. And then Saturday. And next Thursday we leave for a while. So August 26th to September 16th, we will post something. I'll do something, but we're not sure yet. Amelia would like me to abstain from all satsang, not sending her emails.
Put up the message to check back for spontaneous talks.
Just check back. I'm going to do one or two of them from there. So we'll see. But we're going to be away, hopefully, August 26th to September 16th. So, but the information will be on the event calendar. Yes? Yeah. But I'm going to sneak a few in there. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. So let me, oh, there's Sue. I get lucky to see Sue twice. Yeah. She's hovering around sea level. That's good. We got Kerry. Nice to see you, Kerry. I saw Judith. Always a pleasure. Yeah. Gio. Nice to see you, Gio. Yep. We've got Art from, he's in New Mexico now, but I know him from Dallas. Yes. We got John K. Thank you, John. Thank your wife, too. Tommy. Thank you. Robert French, my favorite Kiwi. There he is. Nice to see you. We've got Julie. Tonight must have been an interesting evening. Yes. You would have a lot to say to people. Yeah, that would be nice. Hopefully sometime you'll stay around where Mike keeps the room open, and because you have a lot of experience. Yeah. Yeah. So Anu, always a pleasure, honey. Yeah. John W., a friend of ours from Melbourne. Nice to see him. He's left the room. Yeah. A koala maybe went in his back door. That's the. We got Linda. Linda, nice to see you. How's everything progressing, Linda? All right?
Yes, and especially tonight. I loved your talk. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But I mean progressing in the action figure world. That's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. We got Taj. Nice to see you, Taj. Thank you for attending. Ashley, pleasure. Yeah. We got Alex and we got Jacob. Yes. Two of my favorite people. When East meets West. Not bad. Yeah. Yeah. We got Kenneth. Nice to see you, Kenneth, from Vancouver. Always a pleasure to see Kenneth. We got Joyce. Oh, Joyce. Joyce is going to be watching over our animals next week. Surprise, surprise awaits Joyce. Yeah. The cat's pretty simple, but the dog's a little bit, yeah, trying. We've got Johannes, always nice to see you from the get-go. He's been with us the whole time. Clifford, always a pleasure, from Chiang Mai. I spent a lot of time there. I enjoyed it a lot. Gary, beautiful temples. Yeah. I used to go to Wat Po. You remember? Not, was it Wat Po? Yeah, Wat Po. It's near the zoo. You ever go there? Yeah, yeah. I used to like that pond. It was beautiful. Yeah, yeah. We got Gary. Gary was strutting his non-stuff tonight. Very good. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Impressive. We got Monique. There she is, the bearer of all good things. Nice to see you, Monique. Say hello to your mom. Yeah. I can hear the dog is at the door. We got Ross M. Yeah, Ross. Remember, if you think you're in a house that's on fire and it's hot, get a pail of water. Yeah, simple. Don't worry about if I'm there or not. Just fucking respond to the hot. Forget about the story. All right, so we got JP, our man in Vietnam. Always a pleasure. Yes, JP has been like rolling thunder, rolling with empty phenomena. There we go. There's Stacy. Stacy, one of my favorite people, Los Angeles. Nice to see you, Stacy. Always a pleasure. Michael Szymanski has made an appearance. Szymanski. Yeah, Szymanski. If I was going to replace Big Lebowski, it would be with Szymanski. Yes, there he is. Yes. Nice to see you, Mike.
People.
Yeah, a brilliant mind. Yeah, yes. We got Vlad. Always a pleasure, Vlad. So next week, Vlad, we'll get, just, you have my WhatsApp number? Yeah, let's talk and maybe we can meet somewhere in Europe, probably in Italy. I don't think I'm going anywhere. So, all right, well, at least say hello. Nice to see you, Vlad. So we'll be here until next.
Thank you so much.
So we'll be here next Wednesday. Yeah.
Next Wednesday. I'll give you a call soon.
All right, thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's Zlatko and Janice. Very nice, Janine and Zlatko. Thank you. Nice to see you. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Maybe I'll be going into the water.
Yeah, come on over.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. All right, we've got, let's see, we got some phone numbers. Susanna W., another old deep friend. Matthew, nice to see you. Matthew, you froze, so we'll get, life will answer whatever question you may have. James Gay, nice to see you. Oh, we got, who's this? We got Modi. Is that Modi? Am I saying it right? I can't see. Oh, you know, is it IN?
Hey, Paul, yeah. That's my friend Indigo. This is Jacob. That's my friend Indigo.
Oh, I didn't see the G. Nice to see you, Indigo.
Oh yeah, Indigo. Hi. I've never been here. This is my first time. Jacob's been talking about it forever, and this is actually my first meeting ever. And so it's great to meet all of you.
Well, welcome, Indigo. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, this is lovely. I really appreciate it.
Oh, great. Thank you. All right, we've got more phone numbers. And yeah, let's say goodbye. Thanks, everyone. Nice to see you, Szymanski. Very nice to see you there. See everybody. I'll see you Saturday, tomorrow.
Thanks, Mike.
Every day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Mike.
Safe
Thanks,
travel,
everybody.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Remember, I'm here till next Thursday. So yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Bye, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.